December meeting of the Environmental Protection Committee of Community Board 9. Thank you for coming out in the cold tonight, and we'll see if we're joined by anybody else. So we've got a couple of regular members and a couple of new faces, I guess, tonight. So we'll do a round of introductions. Rona, would you start?
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Rona Taylor. I am the Executive Director of the Central by Southeast Brooklyn CDC. It's a community development corporation which focuses on health, and environmental health is one of its pillars, and that's part of the
You said it's relatively new.
Yeah, relatively new, like 3 years old.
And tell me again the
And
area
so
that it covers.
right now it's Flatbush, East Flatbush, Ocean Hill, and Canarsie. I partner with another CDC.
Street boundaries?
It's just kind of, it's kind of been a little bit organic, based on opportunities and partnerships. So it's, I would say, Empire, I don't know, where's Foster, Empire to Foster, and then over to Brooklyn on the Flatbush, East Flatbush side. And right now in Ocean Hill, I'm mostly in the area by Rockaway between Fulton and Hall Street.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Kathy, we're just doing a round of introductions since we've got a couple of new guests sent in there. Rona Taylor, just introduce yourself. Would you like to go next?
So I'm Debbie. I am a member of this committee. I was chairing it before this time. So,
And a member of the
nice to
board.
meet you guys.
Yeah.
Samantha Batti, resident member of this committee.
Eric Wiseman, committee resident member.
Connect to Lesueur, I'm resident of the community.
Okay, what brings you up tonight?
So just looking at the environmental causes and what we could do. This is sort of a postscript to our event that happened
Okay.
last week. So
Okay.
yeah, last week Friday. So we're just trying to encourage people to come out and, see what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, Hamilton Gonzalez, member of the committee
And of the board.
and of the board. Yes.
So you all have a copy of the agenda in front of you. We're going to add the topic of flooding to the discussion because there are a couple of our guests here tonight join the conversation about that. And other topics to be added for the agenda? Number 6, I threw in a bunch of ideas for our consideration if we get an opportunity to get to them. And okay, good. So you've got the minutes from the last meeting, which was October. We did not meet in November. And that was the meeting at which we had 2 representatives from the Department of Sanitation talk us through a variety of their initiatives around containerization, primarily organics. Talked about street cleaning services. Sorry you missed that discussion, Eric. I know
I'm
that's
gonna ask, there's nothing they just told me.
near and dear to your heart, and so illegal dumping, derelict vehicles, a whole bunch of things. So
I disagree with them.
it's an interesting discussion. Covered a lot of territory. And if you have any specific questions about any of that, glad to see if we can help you with that. So, Bishop, any words of encouragement to offer us this evening?
Yes, sir. I'm trying not to cough because of
Yes, it's the
how
season.
I feel. But I think when the community comes together, as we often do, in spite of our busy schedules and all the other things that we must do, family, it is just so heart lifting to think that there are minds in our community who are thinking about the well-being of us as human beings and well-being of those who are neighbors and friends and family. And I just want to thank Kristen for taking on this part of the committee to really help us look deeper into what we can do for the community, and also knowing that in the environment, if the environment is clean, we're well. We're well. If it isn't, we're not. And if there's anything that we can do, we would want to make sure we can use the best of our tasks, the best of our talents, and our gifts to get it done. And since it is a season of jolly and happy and all the blessings, I'd like to just ask the divine God to bless and guide us and our family and our friends and our neighbors, and keep us safe as we celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah or we celebrate Christmas or whatever the holiday is, and just keep us until we come again in January. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'm just going to add to that a moment of sort of personal privilege. My wife and I last night hosted a gathering for about 20 of our neighbors on Maple Street to say farewell to the man who has been our resident sort of handyman for 20 years. Worked initially for me and then shared him with lots of our neighbors. He's probably worked for 20 houses on our block, if not more. But he is this week self-deporting back to St. Lucia. And both to see his mother, who he hasn't seen for a long time, leaving behind his wife and 3 adult kids here. And he's been just an incredibly important part of our sort of neighborhood sort of family, and his assembly member gave him a nice resolution in his honor, talking about the importance of having people like that help us all sort of keep our houses safe and comfortable and build a community in that sort of way. So I don't know what we're going to do without him. We all have to sort of pick up our own paintbrushes now, but all the things that we relied upon him to do over the years. So with that,
Yeah, that's why this is important.
yeah. So next on the agenda is to review that discussion with the Department of Sanitation reps that were here. They've got so much going on, it's a little hard to keep track of all the details and the timing of implementation of containerization, and because a lot of it is also sort of fluid. Enforcement and organics collection has been suspended until at least the first of the year, which is just 3 weeks away. And what the new mayor will do with that remains to be seen. But we'll just open the floor for any comments, questions, feedback you're hearing from your neighbors about containerization and how that's working, and also the organics program. I don't hear much from my neighbors anymore. It's been relatively quiet, but just curious to see what, if anything, you're hearing from your buildings and your neighbors.
I mean, besides, the Hasidic community wanting to change the timing, to coincide with the Shabbat.
Right.
Yeah.
Which they just got.
Right.
They just got.
They just got it?
No, that reminds me, I forgot to put that on the agenda. The way the regulation is written is that the community board has to request dispensation for that. This is for set out of trash on Friday evenings to allow for the Orthodox communities for trash to be set out an hour before Sunday, as opposed to 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever the other more rigid.
So that would be Friday and Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's but it requires a sort of community board endorsement. So I don't think we need to do that tonight. It'll probably come back to us in January for consideration.
All right, so
Much
that,
more about that.
okay.
That's something that has been.
I mean, it's that's
Lobbying
better
for.
than for everybody. I mean, it's really better for everybody, I guess,
So their pickup is what, Fridays? Or
If
Saturday?
they have
If it's on a
Saturday,
Friday.
if they have Saturday pickup,
Saturdays, yes,
then
Saturday.
they would be allowed to set up trash an hour before Sunday.
Right, okay.
Which is
Makes
like,
sense.
And honestly, I don't, we have to really find out how many parts of the district that affects who
Right.
gets Saturday collection.
Yeah,
Which is not the norm necessarily, but I guess there are some areas that.
The 8
Yeah,
o'clock
well-
affects me as it is, that's kind of late, man, you know?
yeah, certain areas you'll see the garbage can sitting out empty,
Yeah.
so you know. And
Okay.
that's, yeah,
Yeah.
because I walked in that area last week
Okay,
and noticed the cans were all out
Oh,
that
okay.
Saturday, yeah.
okay. Thank you for bringing that up. I had that on my mind, but forgot to add it to the agenda because that came up after this agenda got put together, so. Trash, that's it.
Pardon me, are there more copies of the agenda?
There are, sure, right here. How many would you like? This one? Any other things about sanitation related services you want to talk about briefly?
Well, you know, on my block, it's, you know, the corners, the crosswalk, the water pond and the leaves
Uh-huh.
embedded in the drainage
Right.
system. I called Dante, and let him know that, you know, they need to pay attention, especially, the crosswalk by Sterling, where they have the SBS bus. It's always embedded with, you know, garbage and leaves and water, so,
That was actually a proposal that I've been making this whole time, was when they're on that garbage route, put that shovel and that garbage can that they have hanging off the
well,
side.
they,
put
yeah,
it
because
back
they
on
used
the
to
truck.
do that years
Yeah,
ago
that's
with the
what I'm saying.
brooms and all.
And they
Yeah.
see a drain as they going down the
Yeah.
street, you stop, takes you 5 minutes,
And I know that they
Scoop that.
see it because they
They
stop
do.
for their coffee break right there when I'm heading to work. So you see the trucks
I
parked
have
up
pictures in
and they're
my,
drinking their coffees.
I have pictures in
Yeah.
my phone of the street sweeper coming by
Yeah.
my drain, it was invisible.
Yeah,
Full of leaves, he
Yeah.
didn't bother to dip in and clean it off, and I have a picture of him like going away, so I got him missing the whole thing, you know? So,
yeah.
Yeah, they're not making the effort, everything
Yeah.
is timing with them.
It's
They
timing
have the GPS on their truck, so
and it's
everything
quick.
is a timing,
Yeah,
everything is timing.
so,
That's what they're more concerned about,
And it
timing
is.
than getting the street
yeah,
clean.
so I think, yeah.
Okay.
And the sweeper, I guess, just need to do a better job. I don't know, you know, with the sweeping of the leaves. I mean, on my block, we pick it
Gotta
up.
slow down some.
Yeah,
You know, a couple weeks ago, I
and have
had,
water on the,
I had a couple of neighbors that
The
got,
water apple comment.
got 18-inch violation notices.
Yeah. some,
This is on a residential street, and it was just leaves in the curb, not trash. And I think two adjacent houses got the 18-inch. What we know what the 18-inch violation is. The city rules are that the homeowners or business owners are responsible for cleaning the curb 18 inches out, and keeping the curb clean of trash or leaves as the case may be. It's usually enforced in commercial strips. It was the first time Dante had heard it enforced in residential streets.
but it's crazy when the
So
leaves are
targeted.
blowing in every
It's like
direction.
somebody was targeted.
Just at 2 of the houses on my block, so.
Are they the 2 people that don't clean the leaves?
yeah.
Just
But they
ran-
blow.
I-
You can
yeah.
sweep, I mean, tonight, tomorrow you
Right.
get up.
Right.
Exactly.
It's all over, because if it's windy, I mean, it blows in whichever
Yeah.
direction.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, you know, it's,
That's what we want
some
to
of the neighbors
enforce.
got tickets, about 3 weeks ago for, I guess, parking before the scheduled 10 o'clock
Yeah,
time.
okay,
Because you know, when the sweeper
Right.
goes, most of them
Right.
seniors, they'll pull in.
right.
So they, few of them.
I think that's
tickets
fair
on
to
my
me.
block.
I mean, we need our streets clean.
Yeah. So I guess they have to pay attention to the time.
So speaking of the street sweeper though, I don't know if we did, send a formal thank you letter to, BK9 because I did notice water in the sweeper.
Oh,
So
good.
I've been
So,
seeing
yeah.
water in the sweeper. I don't know if they were thanked, because we can't just, you know, we gotta give them a letter and say thank you, you
Yeah,
know?
I don't think we sent a thank you for coming last Dante.
But we
Yeah.
didn't get any feedback on that.
Well, I'm
Did you
giving
get
you
anything
feedback
from
now,
Dante?
I got the water. I'm
Okay.
the one that originally brought that up, you know, with the
So
water and
we can-
everything, so I'm vouching that they did that. You're not gonna see water now because obviously it's 30 degrees, you know, so.
Yeah.
But they did do that, they did do the water.
Did you make a note of that, the sweeper was passing without water?
Right,
Yeah, so
Okay,
I'm glad to know that, yeah,
so like I said, this.
yeah, I did,
I remember
I've
that.
spoken about that in the past, so.
clearly,
Let's
clearly,
just throw them
yeah.
a letter, you know, like, thank you, you know, like, make them feel like, thank you, right? Mhm.
And maybe we can suggest for the, sweeping up the garbage over the,
Well, that was also
drain?
something that was brought up. I brought that up to Antonio Reynoso, the borough,
bar president.
president, because
Okay.
I went through his office with the flooding also.
Mm,
And, basically, that was mentioned, also. I don't know if you want me to continue with the flooding,
Not
thing?
yet.
Okay.
I just wanted to say one thing about that. Since everybody else is doing this, maybe we can ask that they hire some people just to do their job.
The same way they have emergency,
Yeah,
snow people.
That's
to-
right.
To shovel the curb, right?
that's right.
So they can do that for during fall, when they know all these leaves are gonna fall down, hire somebody to go
To
and
come.
clean those, to keep those drains clean.
I thought about that.
Cause half the city,
This is my
But
third
that's
time.
DSNY and DEP, so it's not just
Exactly.
one agency.
and guess what? Let's add, the
Yeah.
Parks Department into that too, because they're the ones that came and planted the trees and ran.
And they're not finished either, it's a
You
million,
don't see
it's a
them no more,
million,
you
million
can call
tree
and tell them the
project.
trees leaning over, they won't show up, they don't do anything.
It's the list of tree plantings in the.
There you go, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
This,
It's a
You
million
take that home
tree
with you, I
project.
don't wanna see that no more.
All right, moving on from sanitation issues.
We are breathing.
Let's talk about flooding.
Mm.
Because Rona's here to talk about, you can describe what you did, and it sounds like Eric missed our October meeting because he was at a flooding workshop.
Town hall by the councilwoman.
Yeah.
You was there? I know you look familiar. Did you see me there? Yeah.
You would have noticed him.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, you would have, yes.
I'm sure he didn't sit quietly in the back.
No, I didn't.
He had his sump pump under his arm.
Yeah.
Right now, that's the office,
Yeah.
councilwoman's office.
Good.
that was
Would you like
very
to lead
generous
us in
of
the
him.
discussion?
Sure. So, again, my name is Rona Taylor, and as part of my organization, one of the areas that I focus on is environmental health. I was a flood fellow, a community flood fellow, in 2024, and was also part of the Rainproof NYC working group, which
Tell us what a
was.
flood fellow is.
So the flood fellow, this is with, oh my goodness, it's it's the Jamaica Bay, the Science and Resilience Institute of Jamaica Bay, had several flood fellows, and essentially what they did is we learned about all the different things about flooding, looking at the tides, understanding when we might, experience flooding, and we were doing a lot of documenting. In our final project, we had to present about something in the community. One of the things that we wanted to bring attention to as part of that fellowship is that it's, obviously the low-lying areas in around Brooklyn are most at risk. But what we weren't seeing was a lot of attention being spent on like the interior of Brooklyn, right? So we had the flood that was in Park Slope a couple of years ago in September. Park Slope was under 9 inches of water. We've had, during Hurricane Ida, we had flooding in East Flatbush, around Rutland and Kingston.
We
which
had
is-
a death.
Yes, exactly. And that is essentially why we had an event on last Thursday at the Crown Heights branch of BPL in response to that. So we had a resource fair, and we just wanted to make sure that people in the area knew about different programs and grants where they could repair their homes. They understood, like different apps or technology that they could use to be notified about when flooding is happening and to be able to document where it's happening and upload it so that it's information that the city would have and also be available to other organizations. We have the tenant unit there of the Mayor's Office of Engagement, because, you know, a lot of tenants don't understand like what kind of resources they have available to them, especially if they're displaced, you know, and then once they, you know, they go into shelter and then, you know, HPD actually will do their best to help people find, other housing. So we just wanted to make sure that people had access to all those things. Also the sensors, so FloodNet was there, they have the flood sensors that are, on the streets. There is one on Kingston and Rutland and 45th Street in Rutland, I think. And
Was that recently installed, the one after
they've
the death?
actually, no, they've been there. But a lot of people don't understand where to go look at the dashboard to read the data to see how high the water is. So that was like another.
Meaning it's not useful to the public, it's just maybe somebody sitting in the office.
Right.
That's
what it's
reading.
on
Yeah,
site.
I would say the majority of the public doesn't understand that that's a resource to them. And also, one of the things that they're doing, they have to place, I think, like 500 more sensors, and they're asking for the public to, you know, fill out a form and let them know where flooding is happening and where they should place
My corner.
those sensors. Yeah, so please,
So
yeah.
you said DEP was
But I'll
not
leave that.
DEP was not there unfortunately because they had another event that they had to be at, but we certainly want to have that as part of a follow-up. So, you know, we're creating a WhatsApp group so that, you know, if flooding happens again, you know, we are able to check on people, see if they need additional support. We want to be able to continue that conversation. Also, if events come up, like there's, NYSEM is having a winterizing your home event, and even though it's not related to flooding, you know, the weatherization or making sure that like, you know, your home you're ready for winter is still going to be important to share with people. And the weatherization is helpful with flooding also because it just makes sure that things are, you know, your windows, et cetera, the infrastructure of your home is more resilient. And so, yeah, so yeah, we wanted to make sure, it was a pretty intimate event, but I felt that was actually good because, and it's, I got really good feedback from the people who tabled there as well. National Grid was also there. Because oftentimes when they're at resource fairs, people don't have the opportunity to go very deeply in their conversations. And they were actually able to get a lot of what they needed because they weren't competing for people's attention. And so.
Was there a
yeah.
single or maybe a couple sort of takeaways from the event that you learned or you think are important to share?
Yeah, I think that it definitely would have been helpful to have DEP there because there was a lot of concern about, you know, like a lot of the solutions that people have is with, you know, fixing the sewage system, but people don't understand that, you know, we have a combined sewage system. They don't understand that it would be cost prohibitive to fix the entire sewage system. They don't understand that, what was the other thing that came up? You know, that there just are other solutions, you know, like a combination of solutions. And also that a lot of people don't know that we were reclassified as a subtropical climate. And so we're actually just getting a lot more water and we don't have the infrastructure for that. Yeah.
I'd like to, actually, out to all these departments, DEP and all that, has the DDC ever, the Department of Design and
Yeah.
Construction, have they ever been involved in this? Because basically, we're flooding,
Yeah.
it's an infrastructure problem,
Yeah.
and it's a, climate problem.
Yeah.
Because, I went through the community board, that was the results that came back from DEP. You know, we are just an advisory board.
Yeah.
So once that happened, it was really nothing else the community board could do.
Yeah.
So I managed to get myself on Antonio Reynoso, the borough president on Channel 12.
Yep.
He actually answered my question on 12, and I've been in contact with them lately. They also got the same results. All right, and ultimately I was told that, you know, I could actually sue them because they did admit that it was a infrastructure problem and a climate thing. So the DEP is actually like trying to eliminate themselves from this flooding. Oh, it's an infrastructure problem. You can't do it. It's too big of a job and this and that. They're not telling us where they're working, where they're trying to take care of these problems.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're throwing us flood barriers.
Yeah.
All right, the flood barriers, right? Because this is where I'm gonna go with this. The flood barriers we have to fill with water.
Yes.
And when you
exactly.
get your water bill,
Yeah.
you see an extra $200 on your water bill. So they're throwing things
Yeah.
at you when you use those sub pumps. That's electric.
Yeah.
Somehow they have to be responsible for something like some kind of rebate to come in. I see my neighbor, he just put a sump pump in. He's got to pay somebody to put that in because DEP can't control the flooding.
Yeah.
So there should be some kind of reimbursement for us homeowners, especially someone like me that's been complaining for 5 years and been through everything but the mayor right now, you know, and DEC is getting away with it because I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let it go. I've had this corner for 60 years, and my house never flooded even though the rain is coming and we had hard rains. I don't care what people say about this rain. I'm 60 years old. We had hard rains back in the day. A lot of lightning. Storms were like different. They were more angry storms back in the days. So we never had flooding.
Yeah.
The garbage always came down. But take note of this. The way the sewer was designed, it was designed it has an opening in the curb.
Yeah.
Did
the
you
curb-
remember?
the curb.
Anybody remember that? And some of you might still see, some of the young people might not really have noticed. But there's an opening in the curb, right? A wide opening, right? That's to let the initial garbage or whatever go in because there's a trap inside the sewer to catch that garbage before, you know, possibly can go into the actual system itself.
Yeah.
See, what they did was they closed those holes. And the grading, they made the holes smaller. That's for bicycles. So the bicycles come across that grading, the tire could get stuck in there, somebody could get injured. And a rumor was that, unfortunately, the criminals trying to go away running with a gun were using,
Sure.
and now they can't get anything into the system because every time there was a shooting, they would have to dredge each corner
Right.
and the neighborhood.
Yeah, to check.
So that's when they got rid of that. That's when they came and did my curb, that's when the flooding happened. Because now,
Interesting.
if I'm not standing outside next to my curb with a rake, as that initial garbage comes down, right? It's a certain amount, because my neighbors are pretty clean. No, well, not on that side, but on one side, right? It's pretty clean. So a certain amount of garbage comes. It's not like garbage is just coming. Maybe the first 15 minutes of a torrential rain is the garbage. That's enough to cover the sewer and disable it if I'm not there. And then anything after that floods. So the city, we are flooding 50% of, because I'm telling you, well, what the DDC did to those drains, closing them like that and doing that, you can't, one leaf won't even go into that drain. I have them dredge after every storm. There's nothing in there. And so what? They don't have to dredge anymore. The system is clean. Oh, it's just the infrastructure. It's infrastructure. They don't come out. They have nothing to do. They like eliminated themselves and put the problems on the people that own the homes. Because now we're paying for sump pumps. My water bill is high. I'm refusing to pay my water bill right now. I'm getting ready to fight my water bill. Because every time it rains, I got to put water in the flood barrier.
Yeah.
All right, but 50%, the city is flooding. 50% is from the way the DDC changed these curbs for the ADA, the American Disability Act, and and the way they close the drains.
Other comments? Other issues?
I've been studying this for 5 years.
Yeah.
So is it okay?
Is there a follow-up to your?
Yeah, I definitely want to follow up with Mr. Wiseman about your particular issue.
Okay.
And in terms of the follow-up to the event, one of the things that I was hoping is that we could get DEP to at least do like a webinar or something, since they weren't there at the event, to explain to people like their role in all of this. And also, I think it will come from, directly from the people in terms of like what they voice, what they need. And then, we're just the resource to connect them to those things. There will be other, one of the other things that we had in addition to the resource fair was a participatory mapping. So people could pinpoint on the map where flooding was happening. Because part of it, like if you look at the 2080 maps, if you look at any of the FEMA maps, if you, any of the city maps, they don't show flooding in Flatbush. Therefore, people, it's hard to get the support or resources that people need because they don't see it as a problem. And so in addition to the participatory mapping, where we had people pin on the map where they're experiencing flooding, we also had a storytelling component because we're trying to gather stories so that people can understand the impact of the flooding in areas that aren't currently on the map. So, and so that will be repeated throughout Flatbush, and for small businesses, because it's harder for people who run businesses to come to things like that. We're just gonna do like a walkabout and check in with people to see what kind of support they need. Those are the initial
Okay,
follow-ups.
keep
that
us
we have
posted,
coming
and if
up.
there's a way the community
sure.
work can be helpful in
Yeah,
those conversations.
Yeah.
We had the
Borough
the
Commissioner,
borough commissioner.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
newly
she
appointed.
was fairly new at that
Right.
time, so hopefully now she's
Right.
more,
yeah,
Right.
Oh, are you talking about
Experience.
Katrina?
no.
No.
Oh.
Miss Hughes.
no,
Oh, the borough, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
of Brooklyn Borough,
Dressing,
right.
I don't have my notes in front of me for that, but yeah, she was here, was
Yeah,
just getting started, but was her intention was to be out and about in this kind of conversation,
Yeah.
so.
and she had, they had a conflict that night because they were actually doing another event in Jewel Streets, which is in East New York.
Okay.
They experienced a lot of flooding over there as well.
Yeah.
I think to be fair to DEP from my perspective is that they regard other flood-prone areas as higher priorities because they're low-lying, they're marshy areas.
Yeah,
they're
for
those-
sure.
And nobody
They're putting-
tells them, nobody does nothing.
Well, they're putting, billions of dollars into Southeast Queens and Jamaica because that's a low-lying area.
68 million in Prospect Park,
Right, and then
Yes,
they
that
just
we know.
announced,
Yeah.
Yeah.
63 million, 68
to
million.
take advantage of Prospect Park as a sponge
Yeah,
for the surrounding neighborhood, so.
My
And
area
it's-
is
Well, actually, we should have them in for a conversation. to talk
yeah,
about
I think that would be really good too, because I think like what happened, this was a previous town hall that, that the council member had where, I can't remember which agency, but basically they were saying that during the pandemic, the big lawn actually was something that, used to act more like a sponge, but during the pandemic, it was used so much that the soil got compacted, and since then, it's been more like a bowl. And so you have a lot of water that's running off of the park.
Yeah.
And part of the funding that they were seeking at that time was to be able to aerate the soil so that the water could percolate and go down into the ground versus the runoff.
No.
Are you anywhere associated with getting rain gardens installed?
In terms of, the advocacy for that, for sure. And I think that it would be great if there was like some kind of great infrastructure plan for, because every block is so different, every neighborhood is so different. But, I think that if that's something that, that you're interested in, that's definitely something that I'm advocating for, and maybe DDC could be instrumental in that.
Like I said, these departments are jumping ship,
Yeah,
and they're leaving it to us to do.
yeah,
People are spending $10,000 for a check valve, having their driveways dug up, to put this valve in.
yeah,
$10,000.
yeah.
Where's the DEP? This is their problem that I'm paying for. Okay? You can't fix it overnight. You told us that. But at least, where are we on the map? I went and got on my scooter. I went 6-block radius. I got a petition. They have the petition. I had them all sign a petition. I blocked out the whole area. I know where the water stopped and where it started. I know the area that it was. I gave it to them. They would say something to me like, well, we see there's a problem there, and maybe we won't get to you this year, maybe next year. Tell us something, you know. Just don't tell us, oh, it's an infrastructure problem. Don't tell us nothing, because I have been out there speaking to them. Like I said, I've been through 3. They know me. They have to know me by heart. You know what I'm saying? They have to know my name. They have to know my name.
You're referring to DEP?
DEP, the Antonio Reynoso's office, Rita Joseph's office, well, of course, the community board,
Who did you give the petition to?
everybody.
But once you
Everybody
gather the
alive.
signatures,
The community board, Rita Joseph and Antonio Reynoso.
Oh, okay. So I guess we need follow-up with
Well,
the
no,
Borough
they
Commissioner.
already came back, the borough commissioner.
Commissioner, the Brooklyn Borough Commissioner.
That's different from Antonio Reynoso's.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Okay,
under
So,
DEP.
I mean, like I told you, Antonio came back with infrastructure and climate, and so did the board. That's the answer the DP is giving out.
What did the petition ask for? Because I haven't seen
The
the petition.
petition, I started to bring it today, but they haven't, maybe she can print it out. The petition was showing a map, right, of the 6 blocks. They actually did the 6 blocks, showed it where we were flooding, and I had everyone sign that they were flooding, you know, that they were flooding.
Experiencing flooding, yeah.
Yeah, experiencing
Are
chronic
people-
flooding.
Are people calling 311?
That's
That they're not doing. 311 as far as what? It's gonna go to DEP.
Oh.
And then they're gonna show up the
This
next
is-
day and dredge and say, see, nothing's in there. That's what they do to me all the
But
time.
you have to keep calling.
I
You know,
do
you
keep
have to
calling. I can show you maybe
Everyone
about
has to
50
call.
calls I do every time it rains. Because I call myself getting attention. Right? So every time it rains, I call them, they come and dredge. They know me by heart too, the workers.
Yeah.
They
So
know
Eric,
me.
help me out here, the nature of the flooding here, or is system backup in the basement?
It's 50-50. One time, I was lucky. I got just some come up in my tub,
Right,
but most of the neighbors, it came up in the house.
right.
The last big storm we had was a clogged drain. I fell asleep. I wasn't able to be standing outside
Oh,
with the rake. So by the time I got outside, the water had already came up on the sidewalk. And once, if you know anything about standing in the water cleaning the drain, the
Yeah.
suction, as fast as you try to pull it out, it's pulling it back in again.
Yeah.
So he went into my neighbor's house down his driveway. Lucky thing, it seemed like my drive, it missed me this time, but it went around and it flooded out my neighbors. That was the last time. And that, when I finally got through, the water went down. So it wasn't an internal problem. It wasn't infrastructure.
Yeah.
It was the DDC's sewer grates
uh-huh.
that caused that flood. I was getting ready to go by Rutland and Kingston, right? Because I'm not too far from there, and I actually went to Wingate High School, and you know, it's right across the street.
Yeah,
I was gonna go over there, because I call myself a people person,
yeah.
and I'm gonna go over there, and whoever I see there, I wanna know how that flooding happened. I know it didn't come from inside, because when I looked at it on Google, I could see the curb. I think they actually eliminated, if I'm not mistaken, they actually eliminated the curb, the sewer on that corner. Yeah, I think they actually eliminated that. But that was an external from, I'm almost 80%. That was an external, not an internal.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That was an external problem. And if you look at his house,